I used to wonder why some people light up a room and others, no matter how kind or smart they were, just fade into the background. Turns out it has nothing to do with how much you give and all to do with how you hold your energy. Let's get into how to shift into a more magnetic presence from the inside out. Research in psychology and neuroscience are offering some strong insights into what makes somebody attractive or magnetic beyond the physical appearance. Here's a breakdown of ways of being that enhance your presence, your connection, and also your influence. Number one, authenticity. People are often drawn to those who are genuine and congruent, meaning that their inner world matches their outer expression. I'm going to give you an example, okay? Years ago, I worked at an open custody working with male youth offenders, okay? These are teenage boys that had lesser charges, and it was kind of like a group home, although they weren't able to leave. They had to stay there. And I was like a residential counselor because I worked in the social services field for many years. And I was in my early 20s at the time. And, I was in college and I was doing my my co-op placement at this place. I eventually ended up getting hired on there afterwards. But, I first started working there, and something that I naturally did as a worker there when talking to these young youth, and that I noticed worked and helped me connect better, was opening up about my own life challenges, right? And because after I would do this, then the kid would end up opening up about their own life, and we would end up building a deeper connection. And then I was able to have more of like an influence on this kid. And I remember some of the people that I worked with, and it's not just the people, it's the rules in the field. And you're supposed to keep a certain level of confidentiality. And maybe some of the people I worked with thought that me sharing my life story was a little bit too much and going against the confidentiality rule. Although when that happened, and when I was kind of maybe spoken to or said something to by like a coworker, I would just like nod my head and be like, oh, sure, yeah. But deep down inside, there was something always in me, well, I guess based on the results I got from the young boys, was what I'm doing must be right. And it must be making a difference. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm also going to be aware of, making sure that I share things that I'm okay with other people knowing or finding out about, obviously, right? But I'm going to continue doing this because it's helping me to make a difference in these young kids' lives. And I was being authentic in a way that I wasn't just coming there as a worker, as a, telling them what to do, and, not telling them about maybe my downfalls in my life or the challenges that I went through, right? And by me being authentic and opening up about the challenges that I went through personally, allows for the other individual to see me or to see themselves in me, and to not just think that I'm this perfect human that never went through anything, okay? Research states that authenticity builds that trust and emotional intimacy with the other person. And even in moments when, I'm being myself and kind of out there and, silly or whatever, there'll be like a small part of me that's like, oh my God, maybe that was too much, right? I feel like many of us have that little voice inside of us that is afraid, and it's only afraid of being rejected and not liked, right? Because humans naturally want to be accepted by their group and by their peers. So, but there's a fine line, right? Like you can hear the voice, okay? But you don't have to accept it. You can ask yourself, am I doing something that's hurting anybody? No. Okay, well then I'm just gonna continue being myself. And whoever whoever doesn't like me or doesn't resonate with me, they'll end up going away. And whoever genuinely likes my energy will end up being attracted and staying around me. So authenticity can also allow you to attract the right people and situations and the right energy because you're literally being your true self. I'm taking a coaching program right now, and my coaches, they are like influencers and coaches and whatnot on YouTube. And they've been doing this for many years, longer than I have. And one thing that they found was that people watching people on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, wherever, much prefer to watch people that are being more authentic and being themselves. Okay? I think something signals in our, nervous system that this person is safe because they're like it's almost like our body feels like, oh, that person's being real. So like we're automatically just attracted to them versus somebody that is lying and not being themselves. So apparently, even if I'm saying words to you right now, okay, and I'm lying about something, I'm consciously saying things that are lies, my body actually knows that I'm lying. My nervous system, my organs, everything in my body. So that inconsistency, that disarray, or that, that disconnection, other people's bodies, other people's nervous systems can also feel that. How to embody authenticity. Speak your truth, even if it's vulnerable. Stop filtering yourself. I understand that it can be scary, but once you start to step into being the true you, you won't just attract other people and situations and be magnetic. You will also feel lifted. You'll feel increased energy. You'll feel more love. You'll feel more comfortable in your being. Number 2, warmth and presence. Being emotionally present and attentive increases your likability and your social influence. So for myself, I guess being an empath has its perks, right? Like I've told you about my background of being a people pleaser and constantly putting other people before myself, and being able to like read the energy and the feelings of like everyone around me and all that stuff. Well, I can tell you that stepping into my power and starting to take care of myself and put myself up first doesn't mean that my empathic gifts or abilities just go away. So I've just always been this type of person to kind of really be hypervigilant and hypersensitive to other people's emotions, and often kind of like makes me feel sad when I see somebody else sad. I remember growing up, anytime I was in like school and there was a new student, I'd always, I don't know, I guess, feel like, well, what if I was that new student? I would be maybe nervous and scared because I don't know anybody. So I would put myself in their shoes, even since I was really young. And I'd always go up to the new student and just introduce myself and let them know if they need anything, I'm here, okay? And I've been like this my whole life. And although in the beginning it was all about other people and not so much about myself, I've grown into, like I said, my own power and started to take care of myself over the years. But this way of being that I am, that feels and gives my warmth and my presence to others, because that's naturally how I am, I do notice that people are drawn to that in me and they respect that in me. And so long as you're not giving out your warmth and presence without putting yourself first and making sure you have boundaries and all that stuff, this is really a magnetic force, a magnetic trait or way of being, to be that allows people to trust you and for you just to attract people and situations. Research has stated that warmth, not competence, is the primary trait people use to assess others. So if you think about our society and how we praise competence so much, oh, this person can do that, that person can do this, oh, look how many degrees they have, or look how much money they make, or look how famous they are on social media, right? Like it's all just a superficial stage of fakeness and lies, right? Because at the end of the day, even you yourself, right? Doesn't matter if you're talking to a doctor or a superstar, right? Or if you're, I don't know, say you're with like a superstar, that's like an asshole, and then there's like some less fortunate homeless guy or woman, right? And you guys are all in the same room, okay? And you're almost feeling like, wow, so in awe of this famous person, because we're all just like, conditioned to like look at people that make lots of money and are famous, and we just think that, oh, this person must be perfect. But again, remember, that's a lie. But that's your first thoughts about this person. But then eventually over time, as you're talking to both these people, right, the rich superstar versus like the homeless guy, you start to feel this weird feeling like you feel more comfortable around the homeless guy than the rich superstar. And you're like, I'm confused, and maybe you even doubt yourself. But the truth is going back to our nervous systems and our bodies, they feel safer around people that are more warming and loving and present, versus somebody that may be more competent, like the superstar making lots of money, but that person may have a bunch of other problems, and that is coming off of their energy, and like you can feel that. Maybe the homeless guy is showing you attentiveness while he's talking to you, right? Asking you about your life, right? And then the famous person is not showing you any attention at all, and just like talking about themselves the whole time, not being attentive. When you're present with somebody, giving them eye contact, your body language, like your body facing them, listening to them, this allows for somebody to feel safe and like they can trust you, right? And you can't just be sitting there listening to somebody in your head thinking about other things. Even if that person doesn't notice right away, their body knows that you're not being completely attentive with them in that present moment. And when we provide this to other people and give them presence, this makes them feel seen, heard, and important. Again, going back to the need for humans to feel seen and to feel connected with other human beings. How to embody warmth and presence? Like I said, eye contact, active listening, and your body facing them when you are listening to them, versus, say that's you right there, and I'm just like, yeah, oh yeah, is that right? Oh wow, yeah, right? Like, how does that feel? And I'm sure you've had people do that to you, and it doesn't feel good. Like, even if your brain doesn't make sense of it, your body's just like, I don't like this. It doesn't feel good. So to be more magnetic, provide that warmth and presence for people that you are around. Number 3, emotional regulation. So somebody that has a calm nervous system can be another way of being that can be magnetic for other people. I'm sure you've been around somebody that is either always yelling or upset or complaining, frantic energy, right? Or, you go to a restaurant, or you're out in public and they make a huge deal out of something, from like let's say the server makes a mistake, or the whatever store you're at, somebody makes an honest mistake and this person just goes off. And you're always like, okay, this person clearly is not, like, you almost don't want to be around them because they're always dysregulated. Their nervous system is dysregulated, and it feels uncomfortable to be around them because naturally, as humans, we are always seeking safety and calmness because that helps us to survive, right? When we're feeling like when we ourselves are feeling dysregulated, our body naturally wants to find and feel regulation. I mean, most of the time, although I do know people that don't really like to stay calm and just continue to be upset. So that's another story. But naturally, people want to be naturally around people that are much more calming and relaxed. And so people will tend to avoid people that have dysregulated nervous systems. So when you're able to regulate your own nervous system, which means when you feel your emotions or feeling like you're getting upset about something, instead of reacting in the moment, you are able to pause and reflect and ask yourself, is this an appropriate time to express this anger? Did I miss my meal this morning? Like, am I gonna upset this person, right? Or, I need to walk away for a second, tell the person you're gonna go, just give me a minute, go walk away and take a few deep breaths. This is somebody that pauses and reflects before they react, because we all have emotions and feel things, right? But somebody that is emotionally dysregulated all the time reacts and they're not able to regulate their own emotions and calm them down, self-soothe pretty much. And that doesn't feel safe, even for like a child or anyone, to be around somebody like that. So if you can learn to regulate your emotions, then this is a very magnetic trait to have. And because your nervous system is regulated and calm, people naturally want to be around you. And how to embody being emotionally regulated, like I spoke about before, taking deep breaths. So practicing breath work, self-soothing, mindfulness, yoga, self-reflection, and journaling. Number 4, self-worth and non-neediness. People with internal validation are more attractive because they aren't energetically grasping, right? So this kind of became clear to me as to the ways of being that I used to be. And I wasn't like this all the time. Like, we all have different layers of us at different times and contexts and stuff like that. But there was some parts of me that were needy and needed people to validate me and say things like, oh, I didn't think you guys liked me, or, oh, like after like years of being friends with like my group of friends, saying stuff like this. And then, my friend being like, oh no, we love you, blah, blah, blah. And like me being like, yay, I'm accepted. I mean, it's not funny, but like, it's just interesting, right? To like see these ways of being. And I mean, they're just a little bit silly because, I mean, we are all perfect in our own way individually. So I used to be like this, okay? And I'm trying to be more mindful of it nowadays. And, thinking before I speak, and if it's coming from a people-pleasing background, really stopping and being like, do I need validation here? No, I don't, because I love who I am. I don't need to ask them for permission, right? So it takes some time. So I found this kind of funny or interesting so I used to work in sales and like serving, like waitressing, and in that industry, and there's especially like women in that industry, like waitressing and stuff. There's guys in there too, but there's like a certain energy or way of being when you're a salesperson. And I didn't notice it completely when I was in it and doing it. I only realized it afterwards, when I stopped working in those industries and started going to restaurants or started dealing with salespeople, right? Like you're going to the mall and people are standing at the, at the front of the store and they're like, oh, hey, and they try to pull you in and say things and whatever. So I just started noticing this very similar energy, and I'm just like, and I was like, oh, this feels ick. I don't like it because it's energetically grasping, right? Like they're just like, oh, hey, how can I help you? Oh, do you want this? Oh, no problem. Yeah. Oh, would you like this? Oh, great. That looks great. Oh, like, right? Like this energy that's just like a I don't know, like a sucker, like a vampire sucking you and like making you, or doing anything for you, almost like a slave, like your own slave or something. And anyway, so it felt really icky, and so that's my example. I won't go on a tangent here, but that type of like salesy, waitressing, waiter kind of energy where they're always nice to you and asking you if you need anything. They're like extra nice. Well, because they have to. This is their job position, right? Like this is the way they have to be, and that's why they have the job, is because they're good at doing that. But that type of energy is literally, but like the type of energy that I would have even when I wasn't working, right? Like, do you like my new top? Or like, do you like, when somebody didn't like acknowledge something, like I'd have to like point it out, or just, or like downgrading myself when I'm talking to people. Oh, it's not that good, or um I'm not that good yet, or just kind of like downing myself, or you're really good at this, I'm not really that good yet. That energy is coming from a lack of self-worth and neediness, right? And being around that, you're just like, I don't like this. I even started to meet people, not like at a non-workplace, like say people out in the community, certain places that I would go that weren't working, and they were just being themselves. And I could feel that neediness energy. Like when I started to become aware of my own and tried to start like acting differently, I could feel it in these people when they're like, right, like this kind of energy. And I'm like, God damn, was that me? Like, and it's not attractive, right? It's not, you're almost thinking like, does that person, you feel like they're only doing it because you want them to do it. Whatever it is that they're asking or doing, you're just like you're like, I don't think that's what that person wants to do, because they'll be like, oh, I'll do whatever you want to do. What do you want to do? Right? And you're like, I don't want to be around that. Anyways, that's my long story, okay, about self-worth and neediness. And the more, so it's not attractive, it's not magnetic when you're in that energy, because you're not standing in your power, in your own individuality. And when you start to stand in your own individuality and your own power, your own voice, right? And slowly over time, you're going to filter out all the voices that are saying, what if they don't like me, right? You're not good enough. Once you filter out all that garbage and really start stepping into your power, then that's when you just feel the power. And then when you don't need the approval, others will naturally give it to you, because you're not coming from this energetically grasping place. It's just, or you're just being organic and being yourself. So how to embody self-worth and non-neediness is meeting your own emotional needs, letting go of people pleasing. Like I was just talking about this, stepping into your own power, owning your voice, respecting yourself and your boundaries, and setting boundaries, and not going against your word and giving into things that don't align with you or resonate with you. Number 5, curiosity and playfulness. Curious light energy always draws people in. There is this layer of me that is very, actually many layers, that is very curious and playful and very childlike. And I have found this always to be a light in people's lives. I've often had people tell me that when I walk in, it's like I'm like a light. And I really truly believe that this comes from my playfulness. Have you ever met somebody that just takes life too seriously? And don't get me wrong, I definitely have had my moments where I take life too serious, okay? Again, we all have lots of layers to us. But somebody that is way too serious all the time, can't take a joke, takes everything serious, is maybe really competitive, right? How does it feel like to be around such seriousness all the time? You almost feel like tight, like can't make a mistake. Oh, gotta be serious. Gotta be like it's like an energy, like a tight, stiff energy. It's not flowy and fun and open, right? So when you are playful and loving and open, right? That too is magnetic to somebody else, because your nervous system is social and bonding and fun, and that's what humans naturally are drawn to. Like, we were once children, right? And we played. And even as adults, play is a part of the human experience, and humor and laughter is very good for your nervous system. Okay, so yes, how it works is playfulness signals your openness and your vitality and low stress. So this is how it attracts other people. And how you can start to embody curiosity and playfulness is asking thoughtful questions, right? Not believing everything you hear, or like doing what you're told all the time, right? And not like thinking for yourself. When you have your own critical mind and you're able to question life and things, this embodies more openness and curiosity and like intelligence. And people are drawn to that when you're not just following the crowd and conforming. Another way to embody this is finding humor and to be lighthearted. Don't take life too serious. Acknowledge your accomplishments. Work towards what it is you're working on, but remember to just play and reward yourself when you've worked hard. And number 6, purpose and passion. People are drawn to those who are engaging in meaningful activities in their lives, are following their dreams or their passions, doing things that light them up, that they love, that is a part of them. If you've ever met somebody that, let's say, works a job that they don't like, or they hang out with people that they don't like, they're just always kind of complaining about things, all the stuff or the things that they do in their life, they're not fulfilled. And you can tell by the words that they use, their body language when they're talking about it, and they're like, right? So this is somebody that is not in alignment with their true self, or listening to their inner voice that is telling them, this is what I want to do. I want to join the swim team, or I want to run that marathon, or I want to, I want to start creating movies, or, a lot of people don't listen to their inner voice. And for, I would say, a good reason. There's a lot of pressure in society to like make money and pay bills, and if you have kids, then you got to pay for this and you got to pay for that. And a lot of us get lost in the sauce of like responsibilities of life, because I think most of us take life too seriously, to the point where we don't hear the voice that says, this is what's going to light me up and fill my heart. Okay, so how to embody this is listening to that voice, right? You can always figure something out in your life, even if you're at a job, right, that you don't like right now, but it's paying the bills. Okay, stay there. Is there something else that you want to do that'll light you up? Play a sport, go join a chess team. Whatever it is that you feel like you want to do, start engaging in these, slowly at a time. And eventually, over time, once you start to feel more uplifted and in alignment with your purpose and your passion, then maybe you'll end up finding a job or creating your own business that is coming from your own true expression. Okay? And people like this are magnetic. Why? Because they're living in alignment with their true self, and they're happy, and they're listening to that inner voice that says, I want to do this. I kind of visualize it as like a little kid, like the little version of you being like, hello, hello, I want to do this. This is how I'll be happy and have more fun, as if we do this, right? So listening to that inner voice, and yeah, that's pretty much how to embody your purpose and passion. Prioritize what lights you up. Speak from conviction and follow your curiosity. We are most magnetic when we are regulated, real, and rooted in self-worth. Attraction isn't something you choose, it's something that you embody. And when you are regulated, authentic, and fulfilled, people can feel that. They trust you, want to be around you, and are drawn to your energy because you feel like home. If you liked this video, be sure to check out Stop Living on Autopilot, Start Living More Consciously, linked above. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, guys, and remember to stay mindful.